Hello, welcome. It's 4:20, so let's get high. All right. I've been talking all day. I'm exhausted. But I wanted to continue reading my book, Zohar-Beyond the BlackWhole. So I read the preface, the introduction, and translating Zohar. So now we start chapter 1. And the first heading in chapter 1 is, why is Zohar important? The Jewish people are widely known as the people of the book. Indeed, the Jewish people have produced books without end, from the first book called Torah, teaching, comprised of 4 letters separated into gender. The Torah Shekasav, the written Torah, is male, and the other 3 levels of Torah, teaching, are female, known as Torah Shebal Peh, the oral Torah. The Torah Shekatav, the written Torah, is compared to the 7-branch golden candelabra. The din, law derived from the Talmud study, is the wick. The first letter, the first level of Torah Shebal Peh, of oral Torah. The oil comes from the medrash, exposition, a word implying squeezing knowledge from the text, combined with the law to deliver a narrative. The flame of the fire is Zohar. Where is it? But being the highest does not necessarily mean the most important. Everything has a head, but sometimes the heart's emotions and the limbs' reactions and the words spoken are more important. Zohar was important to a few initiates. Since Zohar was written for our time, Sof Yomim, end of days, as is clearly declared in the text, there was no need to learn this book previously. Zohar was written in an ancient language which, once deciphered, makes little sense to the uninitiated. From the time Zohar was delivered to the earth, 700 years ago, the rabbis, guardians over the Torah, proclaimed prohibitions against studying Zohar, prohibitions which continue until today. The rabbis don't want to get burned nor to burn down the house with the brilliance from the light Zohar. But the resulting effects from hiding the knowledge Zohar is the secret has been lost. The book Zohar is a large volume, over 1,800 pages in small print, broken up into short paragraphs, sectioned into 53 weekly segments. Moshe, the prophet who composed the first 5 books, sectioned the Torah Shekatav, the written Torah, into weekly segments. The written letter hides a 5th dimension of knowledge called gematria. Hidden beneath the letter is a value. Since each letter has an assigned number, each word has a sum showing correspondence with other concepts. An example of gematria: the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet is Aleph, with a value of 1. And the next letter, Bet, with a value of 2. The word lev, heart, is the same gematria 32 as the word covered liver, which is interesting, since the heart pumps the blood and the liver cleans the blood. Also, there are 32 teeth corresponding to the 32 nativas chachma, wondrous paths of wisdom. When numbers need to be written, letters are used instead, which sometimes incidentally makes words. In 1999, the year in Hebrew was 5759, which made the word Satan, opposer. This dance between letters and numbers is present at all four levels of Torah. There are two invisible attributes to the written letter: the Nakuda sound, which is Talmud, and the trope inflection Medrash. The fourth element of the Torah is Keter, crown set upon certain letters but not other letters, indicating Zohar. Rabbi Akiva, one of the characters peopled both in the Talmud and Zohar, was able to learn many laws from the placement of the crowns upon the letters. Moshe, who received the Torah from heaven, was confused by the crowns put upon similarly indiscriminate letters. Like the crowns upon the letters, Zohar is beyond comprehension, except for the elites. So why was Zohar written for our time when all is dark and hidden? The astounding progress of technology has encouraged a global hubris, resulting in the destruction of our planet for the dream of going into outer space. This is an old obsession begun 4,000 years ago, building the Tower of Babel on the planet Mars. As described in the book Zohar and Zohar Kodesh. Over these 4,000 years, our world has become more physical, requiring drilling into the essence of matter to power the earth through the workings of technology. There was a line when the world was more, there was a time when the world was more ephemeral, easier to draw spiritual energy down to power life, the light from the past, to power life, the light from the past, has attenuated into the present, poised for the future. We live in darkness and in ignorance. No time in human history has ever been as low as our time, a time deemed by the ancients Sophia-meme, end of days. Into this darkness comes the book Zohar, brilliance illuminating the future. If so, why has the book Zohar just happened upon the world after 2,000 years, written in ancient Aramaic mixed with ancient Hebrew? Why was the book Zohar not already refined through discussion during the last 2 millennium, like the rest of the Torah Shabbat, oral Torah? What is the point to suddenly bring forth a seemingly obtuse, obscure, ancient knowledge at this time in history? All right. The next heading is End of Days. I'm tired and I go for a walk after this. Haven't been out of the house in 3 days. Where am I? Oh, the end of days. This ominous nomenclature, Sophia-meme, conjures up upheaval and destruction of our planet. But that is an incorrect rendition to the meaning of the term Zohar-Beyond. Time pictured as a line infers an end. In fact, the line of history is always ending, manifested in the continual present. The question is, when will the future happen? However, time seen as a spiral is a completely different inference. A spiral is pulled into the vortex of conclusion. Think of water going down the drain or a galaxy spiraling around a black hole. The DNA spirals, the golden mean spirals, life spirals from birth until climatic end. Even sex spirals from inspiration into action, ending in climax. Time also spirals. If these are the Zohar-Beyond, then when are the beginning of days? The Torah begins with the word Bereshit, commonly understood as in the beginning. The Torah speaks on different levels at the same time. On one side, the word Bereshit, Bereshit comes to begin time with the advent of space. But on the other hand, the word Bereshit comes to pinpoint the precise beginning of the 7,000 years allotted to human life on planet Earth. Like the thickening rings exacting time in the trunk of the tree, each 1,000-year revolution around the sun corresponds to one of the 7 orbits from the 7 outer planets of our solar system, beginning with planet Earth. The delicate weave of star beams plus planetary oscillations spiraling through the solar system are embedded in the spiral of our Milky Way galaxy. Yet universal time is regulated from the Earth, the center of creation where the human being exercises freedom of choice on the lowest level of existence. Human souls and physical bodies occupying this terrestrial world. If time were endless, then life would be equally hopeless. The Big Bang Theory exemplifies this ultimate nihilism in a scenario where the spontaneous mutation of life is a futile anomaly. The spiral of time gives purpose to life. Without purpose, life is pointless. Now, at the end of these 6,000 years of human history, the world is undergoing a purification. Kavod in Hebrew has 3 meanings: respect, heavy, and liver. This plague purging sickness, wiping away the innocent with the guilty, is necessary to correct the earth. The time is coming for death to be ripped from the world while the last vestige of impurity is washed away. When God wipes the tear from each cheek, those buried in the ground will grow new bodies, impervious to sickness, living 1,000 years. The Roman year 2020 is tough. Is Hey Tough Shin Pei. Years, 570 and 80 years since the first human arose from the dust of the earth. The demarcation line between the desert and the beach of the shore. The world is shifting in conclusion mode. The arc of our time culminates in 220 years, in preparation for the 1,000 years of woman and peace. Rebbe Shimon, the author of Zohar, who 2,000 years ago saw into our time of darkness and lies, now speaks to our confusion. He wrote and compiled these words for our generation of darkness and fear, armed with lies and deceit, discrediting the existence of truth. Those who seek to further the line of the lie will eventually succumb to the curve. Transitions are always difficult, but the deepest darkness gives expression to the greatest light. All right. The 777. One of the undeniable signs of this transitional period before the beginning of the 1,000 years of war and peace is the occurrence of the number 777. A comet crossed the Bible Belt of America in the year Trump was elected, 5,777. He was 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days when inaugurated. Lastly, when the world was about to spin out of control, COVID, respect, hit the brakes on March 11th, 2020, when the World Health Organization announced COVID, respect, to be a pandemic. There were 7,770,000,000 people in the world. 7 is a beloved number indicating rest. The 7,000th year, beginning in 1,000th year, beginning in 2020, 220 years, caps the previous 6,000 years with conclusion. In the same way, the 6 limbs of man are satisfied once united with woman, who is the 7th day of the week. The Shabbat bride ends the week by blessing the new week. There are 4 obligatory prayer sessions set out for the 24 hours of the Shabbat. Each prayer session is composed of 7 blessings. The first 3 prayer sessions produce the 777, ending the previous week. The last prayer session of 777, the last prayer session of 7 blessings, begins the new week. 4 times 7 is koach, power. The Melech HaMavos, angel of death, is known by the number 777. The line of time can be stretched out to infinity, but the spiral of time has demarcations delineating the old cycle from the new cycle. The Roman year 2020 was a pivotal juncture merging these 2 disparate times. The 6,000 years of man to the 1,000 years of woman and peace. The Talmud says all 7s are beloved. Love has a conclusion, drawing love deeper and longer until the end is excruciating blissful. This is our time, both excruciating and blissful, the pinnacle point of human development. However, the technological glare is obscuring the power of 7. Where the other 9 components, the 9 points of the 3 triangles comprising the tree of life, is a collusion of male and female essential energies, the 10th attribute turns. And is woman. The 2 lower triangles on the tree of life are called midot, the music, measurements, the music of the emotions corresponding to the human body, 2 arms and torso plus 2 legs and sex. The 3rd and upper triangle corresponds to the intellect made from the 2 hemispheres of the brain plus the 3rd eye. Emotions find expression in the mouth through speech. The year 2020 in Hebrew, Tuf, Hai Tuf Shin Pei, the number 80 is denoted, 57780, the number 80 is denoted by the Hebrew letter Pei, which translates as mouth. The 7th day of the week, called Shabbat, rest, is referred to as Kala, betrothed. She comes from the west, pressing her little pink shoe against the horizon each Friday night, causing the congregation to turn towards the west, saying, Boi Kala, come, bride. Man is compared to the shafts of light from the sun, while woman is compared to the moon, who takes from the sunlight, then delivers the glow to the earth, enabling the light of the sun to enter directly into our eyes. It is the seventh day which ends the week through the power of seven and blesses the new week through the power of seven. All sevens are beloved. One more. I feel dizzy, my legs hurt. Been sitting here too long. Key to the Zohar. The most feminine of all the Jewish teachings is the Kabbalah, which translates as receive, a feminine attribute. The Kabbalah, receive, is the key to Zohar, brilliance. The Kabbalah was revealed 500 years ago, after the 500 years after the channeling of the Zohar. Well, it wasn't 500 years, maybe it was 500 years. No, it couldn't be. 400 years. 400 years after the channeling of Zohar. So this essential knowledge could eventually drip down into our time. Sof Yamim, end of days, is when the pervading darkness is challenged by the light from Zohar. The Kabbalah is the generic name to all the hidden teachings that are not taught but need to be independently conferred. Since the genitals of male is revealed and the genitals of woman is hidden, therefore the Kabbalah, which is the most hidden secret, is also the most feminine of all Jewish teachings. 3,000 years ago, there were schools for prophecy in the land of Israel, but not all who matriculated actually received prophecy. Similarly, those who receive the hidden secrets are not necessarily the most learned or pious. Truth is truth, no matter whose mouth is delivering the words. The slow trickle of Kabbalistic knowledge has been percolating through the millennia of Jewish mystics able to see the light within the darkness of exile. This sublime knowledge burst forth as the Kabbalah a few hundred years into the beginning of the sixth and final 1,000-year segment before entering into the 1,000 years of woman in peace. The Kabbalah was first manifested in the northern mountains of the Galilee 500 years ago in Sfat, one of the 4 ancient Jewish cities, corresponding to the element of air. In Sfat, modern Kabbalah was born from the mouth of the Ari, a Jewish mystic who beheld a vision leading him to Sfat, Israel, where spiritual seekers gathered together, praying to God to send them a teacher. The Ari passed away at a young age, 38, having only taught for 3 years. His main disciple, Chaim Vital, wrote the seminal books considered modern-day Kabbalah. The focus of the Kabbalah is the structure of creation, along with minutely measured description as to how the light of creation filters down from God to earth. At the same time the Kabbalah was being revealed, the printing press was invented, causing the knowledge of Kabbalah to suddenly spike around the world. The rabbis ruling the Jewish people delivered dictates against studying of Kabbalah. with the exception of privileged rabbis. But even the privileged rabbis using the Kabbalah to drill into the Zohar were unsuccessful in their pursuit, leading themselves and others astray. Nonetheless, their work was invaluable to the coming generations. 2 centuries later, in Eastern Europe, the Baal Shem Tov took the knowledge of the Kabbalah and fed it to the common folk. I am the end of the 10th generation since the Baal Shem Tov. After 500 years, this accumulated knowledge stemming from the Re through the Baal Shem Tov has drenched the world in a highly technical jargon with little application to physical life or moral behavior. The Kabbalah is the key to Zohar. The words of Zohar are meant for Sof Yamim, end of days. Now is the time to turn the key and open the door to truth, to Emet, truth. Okay. Yeah, I can finish. At the end of the chapter, not too long. Zohar and world peace. This obscure ancient text was written for today to avert what seems an inevitable destruction of human life on planet Earth, the end of the world. The earth paved over with silver and plastic, skewing the image of ourselves bathed in technological light, has cast an uncomfortable conclusion for the future. The lie is everywhere you look. The fake news, the fake face, the illegitimate system with hidden agendas, entertainment becomes truth. In Torah teaching, there is no light higher than Zohar, brilliance. In this time of darkness and deception, this great light is being heralded because the time of Zohar has come to fruition. The word Zohar is built on the word or, light. The fourth the word Torah is built on the word or, light. The fourth and highest level of Torah is Zohar, written by Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, who lived 2,000 years ago. Prepared through the centuries as a plate of food to be fed to the world when needed, spiritually freeing those lost in wealth and consumed by dogma. Zohar is the medicine for our time. Global sickness is a result of being undernourished, fed fast, false food instead. The time has come to insert the key into the lock and open up Zohar for all to see. The way is prepared. Zohar has been translated into various languages, and there are many commentaries concerning Zohar. The end of the 6,000 years of male dominance, known as the time of Yesod, foundation, when the hidden is being revealed, not just physically through science and astronomy, but also spiritual secrets are being divulged. The greatest secrets are hidden inside the voluminous pages of Zohar, written in collusion with obscure ancient languages. Translations are endemically colored by the imperfections and biases of the translator. To get beyond the translated word, the right side of the brain must be activated. The right side of the brain is where the soul, which is engraved from a star, connects to the human body, causing animation. The right side of the brain is the bastion of sight. Sight is independent from the rest of the body. Our ability to see in the mind is the closest the body comes to heaven. Using sight to uncover concepts reduced down into forms reflected throughout creation brings illumination into the world. Zohar exposes esoteric concepts spoken in the mama language of the mama tongue of the Jewish people, ancient Hebrew and Aramaic. Vision is the great equalizer because even a blind person can make pictures in their mind. Behind the words of Zohar is a vision of creation taken from the heavens, etched into the firmament where only Emet, truth, resides. To bring this knowledge down to the earth for all humanity to bathe is the final step in satisfying the Creator's desire to be known and low. We are the lowest generation, at war with ourselves, at war with nature, even at war with the Creator. The brilliance of Zohar shines light upon the face of the darkness to awaken and refresh the eyes of creation. In a very simple way, Zohar changes everything. Enter us into a new era known as the 1,000 Years of Woman and Peace. Once you see the way it is, you will never again be able to see the way it was. Emet, truth, obliterates all opposition. Only the little bit of light is needed to dispel copious amounts of darkness. This is a safeguard in the Torah to keep, there is a safeguard in the Torah to keep the lie away. All additional knowledge compiled in the Torah Shebapeh, the oral Torah, must be tethered to the written text without contradiction. Zohar illuminates the original text of Torah Shekatav, written Torah, without contradicting the simple meaning of the written word. The gematria of God's name is 26. Replicated throughout creation in the form of a 26,000 light years from the center of the galaxy. The 1,000, I don't know what happened here. The 26,000 years Earth appears to rotate around the North Star, and the 26,000 miles circumference around the globe, plus the Earth pulses every 26 seconds. Since the age of 26, I have been committed to studying the Torah and the Zohar in the original language of Hebrew and Aramaic. I have made predictions based on my study of Zohar concerning the nature of creation, which have proven true by science. I have answered questions posed by Zohar without contradiction. Now the question is, what is Zohar? All right, a little bit over, but thank you very much for listening. I'll continue tomorrow. Bye.